Have you ever wondered what forges a conqueror? Is it birthright, destiny, or sheer unyielding will? Today we journey back to the vast windswept steppes of 12th century Mongolia to uncover the origins of one of history's most formidable figures, a man who would become Genghis Khan. But before the empire, before the legend, there was just a boy named Temüjin, born around 1162, clutching a blood clot in his fist, a sign, it was said, of a great destiny. Temüjin's early life was anything but glorious. Imagine being just 9 years old when your father, a minor tribal chief, is poisoned by rivals. Suddenly, your world collapses. Temüjin, his mother Holun, and his siblings were cast out by their own clan, abandoned to fend for themselves in the harsh wilderness. They were left with nothing. Life became a brutal lesson in survival. They foraged for roots and hunted small animals, constantly on the move, constantly in fear. This wasn't a childhood. It was a trial by fire. Temüjin was even captured and enslaved by a rival tribe, forced to wear a wooden collar like an animal. But even in chains, a fire burned within him. He saw the world for what it was, a chaotic battleground of warring tribes, where loyalty was fleeting and strength was the only law. He didn't just endure. He observed, he learned, and he planned his escape, which he successfully pulled off with cunning and audacity. As a young man, Temüjin began to build his reputation not through brute force alone, but through something far more powerful: loyalty. He remembered those who helped him and rewarded them generously. He forged alliances through marriage and diplomacy, most notably with a powerful chieftain named Togrul, a friend of his late father. Togrul became his patron and ally, and with his backing, Temüjin started to gather followers. People weren't just drawn to his strength, they were drawn to his vision. He promised a world where merit, not noble birth, determined a man's worth. He promoted talented individuals regardless of their tribe, a revolutionary idea on the steppes. But the path to unity was paved with conflict. His own wife, Berta, was kidnapped by the Merkit tribe, a painful echo of his mother's own abduction years earlier. This personal crisis became a catalyst. Teaming up with Togrul and his childhood friend and blood brother Jamuka, Temüjin launched a daring rescue. The victory was immense, not just because he saved his wife, but because it cemented his status as a capable military leader. He was no longer just the son of a fallen chief. He was a warrior and a commander in his own right. However, his rising influence inevitably led to a clash with the very people who had helped him. His friendship with Jamuka, once as close as brothers, fractured under the weight of ambition. They represented two different philosophies. Jamuka favoured the traditional Mongol aristocracy, while Temüjin championed a new order based on loyalty and merit. The steppes weren't big enough for both of their visions. Their rivalry culminated in a series of bitter wars that split the Mongol tribes into two major factions. It was a long and bloody struggle, testing Temüjin's resolve, his strategies, and the loyalty of his men. Through brilliant military tactics, psychological warfare, and an unmatched ability to inspire his soldiers, Temüjin systematically defeated his rivals. He absorbed their warriors into his own army, not as conquered subjects, but as equals. He dismantled the old tribal structures that had caused endless conflict and reorganized his people into a unified military state. By 1206, after decades of struggle, betrayal, and relentless warfare, he had achieved the impossible. He had united all the disparate warring tribes of the Mongolian plateau under a single banner. In that year, a great council, or Kurultai, was held. The boy who was once an outcast, a slave, was proclaimed the supreme ruler of all the Mongols. He was given the title Genghis Khan, meaning the universal ruler. The era of Temüjin was over. The age of Genghis Khan and the beginning of the largest land empire the world has ever known had just begun. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most epic figures. Let me know in the comments what part of Temüjin's early life surprised you the most. Until next time, stay curious.